Use your difference to make a difference.
We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing.
Every story can change the world.
My name is Tsunami, but you will soon see why they call me Slay.
Bobbly, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a character. I'm the guy that brings the joy into the room.
Life will throw you challenges, but it's about how you handle the process that will reveal your true potential.
My journey is to take one Africa to the world.
I'm a tomboy. I like to get down and dirty when I need to.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Cover your top before you're born.
Build a team, execute the dream.
I believe sometimes in life you have to create your own opportunity.
My motto in life is simple. Don't worry, be happy.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I am your guest host, Uchemba. In today's society, as a young woman, where unplanned pregnancy before marriage is becoming a norm, I am very excited to hear today's conversation. So let's get started. Today's question is, whose responsibility is it when a woman gets pregnant? The man or the woman?
Both.
Whose responsibility? It depends on what. Whose responsibility is it when a woman gets pregnant?
Both. Both. It also depends as well.
Depends on what.
I feel like if I tell you I don't want to be pregnant because I can't afford, birth control or whatnot, and you still do what you want to do, you're going to be a single father.
Well,
if they don't and you're not only pregnant, you'll be a single father. I will have the baby and I will just drop it at your house and I will just leave. Meaning that you want the baby, right?
You want the baby?
No, he wants the baby.
Okay.
So he wants the baby and he's not okay with abortion or whatever the case we decide to take or I decide to take. So I will, give him his child. But if I'm not mentally ready to be a mother,
but the thing is, you're going to be carrying the baby for 9 months.
True. But I'm not talking about for me. I'm just saying that's my ideology, I guess.
Usually, let's say if I'm dating a guy, we want to, have fun. They will, for some reason, they don't know how to pull out a condom. I don't understand why. And then I'm like, okay, can you put the condom on, please? And next thing you know, they'll try this thing where they'll take it out during the sex. That's rape. Low-key rape.
Have you heard of a female condom too?
But who uses that? That doesn't do anything.
Do you know how big that is?
That shit
don't do shit. So we have to now insert things into our body because you guys want to be savages.
It's a precaution if you really don't want to get pregnant.
No, you carry the semen. You can control it. I cannot control it.
I think it's both parties because females can have certain things. You can have the injection or you can take the pill.
Another thing.
No, why should I don't like the fact that everything always boils down to the woman. I mean, nature, it does. But as far as control, it's always we have to be the ones to take the birth control. We have to be the ones to go get the abortion. Of course, it has to be us. But it's like there's so much pressure put on women. It's almost becoming our fault from getting pregnant, so to speak.
If you want to have sex with a man and you're not ready for a child, I think you're just as responsible to protect yourself. So if you're aware that he has no condoms on him, you should have something in place or have some sort of protection.
Okay, like the condom pops. Mm-hmm. You guys keep on going, why? Do you guys want to get us
No,
pregnant?
but
What is it?
I
I
mean,
feel like
sometimes you don't realize.
it's a lie.
No, no,
Every time you
wait,
make a
wait,
stroke,
sometimes you don't know.
every
Yeah, but
stroke that you're making, you see
don't-
that the condom pop.
But don't forget the condom pops on the head, not
Getting a
the
little
end
visual.
part. So
Yeah.
you could, if it's in the dark, if you got bright lights like this and you're having sex, then clearly you can see what's going on. And if you know that's happening,
So you can't feel it if it pops.
No, you can't.
you
Is
cannot.
this condom popping thing really realistic? Because
It does happen.
It does happen.
your mandingo's that big to break a.
Nah, it's not even.
No,
it's
I
not-
think-
it's nothing to do
it-
with
it-
that.
it-
It's
it
nothing to
happens
do with the
sometimes.
size.
It's the movement.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
all that.
Sometimes the condom is faulty.
Yeah.
So that's all that comes into play.
Yeah.
But then if the condom's faulty, then back to it's nobody's fault.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Because
definitely.
even as a woman, if it's still your responsibility, right? And you know, even with like contraceptives or whatever it is, it's never 100%. So you're still gonna have to be aware of that and still take full responsibility. If you see he doesn't want to pull the condom out, you shouldn't even be having sex until he's pulled it out. If you're really as concerned about having a child. Same with the guy. If you're not ready for a child, you better have something on you.
So there's both
Or
sides.
don't.
Yeah, I think it's like both.
But the women, okay,
But the women
can prevent it more. Like because they have the power. Yeah, they have the because they've made contraceptives. They've made Plan B. There's condoms. So
I don't agree with that.
I mean,
Hold
no.
on, wait. Why must the woman? Sorry, why must the woman subject her body to all those chemicals and all types of stuff that ends up hurting us in the long run? Because you guys want to have your way.
Well, I don't think it's. I don't think. I understand it's a valid point. Sorry, then, man. It's a valid point what you said, Sydney. I understand that, but it's depending on who wants a child. If you want a child, both parties need to take caution and protection for both parties, just so the kid doesn't come into play.
True.
That's what I was going with what Milan was saying.
Yeah, no, but
I understand what you're saying.
Well, what you were saying is just unplanned pregnancy, right? So if it's unplanned,
whose fault is it?
In my opinion, I don't know that it's anyone's fault. But I don't think it's anyone's fault.
It's the guy's fault.
I don't think it's anyone's fault because I think that, like I said, these things happen. Like you said, it could be faulty condom. It could be something happens, and maybe no one took protections. But if someone did do what you said, where the guy took out the condom, that's definitely rape.
That's intent.
That's rape.
No, that's intent.
That's rape,
right?
And he has motive to plan.
I'm not saying it happened to me. I'm just saying.
No.
You guys use that word loosely.
Yes, I think you use that very loosely.
I think it's rape.
What? Okay, elaborate, please.
Because you're doing something that was not. If she, that's not what she wanted.
She didn't consult to it.
If you mean if it's a complete stranger that comes and tries to sleep with you forcefully, that is rape.
So wait, hold on,
Okay, let's say
no.
Just to your point, I just think we're using that term a bit loosely.
No, I see what you're saying, but then when you're when you
one at a time, guys, one at a time, please.
Without consent.
Thank you.
Exactly. When you ask the guy to put a condom on, he puts it on. Then during the middle of the sex, he takes it off. That's rape. I'm sorry, because you don't know what this guy. You don't know what this guy is carrying. You don't know what he got going on. So what do you call it? While we're having sex, you take off the condom. That is low key rape. You also asking for pregnancy and STDs, and I don't want to deal with that.
I feel what Ms. Trey is trying to say is overall the men have the actual upper hand with that.
Right.
As far as like conception wise, yeah, we're having sex, but it is literally up to you to plant that seed. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you do not, let's say I'm gonna use a very different word, hit base. Let's say you hit base during, the act or whatever.
What do you mean? The swimmers are good? Landing?
Yeah, obviously the E word,
okay.
EJ, right? Let's say you EJ or whatever during the, and you're wearing a condom. You have the choice to do it while you're still attached to the woman or sensibly pull out and do it into the condom.
That's what I'm saying.
Most people that are considerate about pregnancy and pull out and do it into the condom. Some people do it another way. It's up to you. Whatever. I ain't killing no one over that. But I feel like if you were trying to really respect her choice, if she said she didn't want a child, you would take that extra precaution to not even take the chance. God forbid the condom breaks while it's happening. Who knows?
Let's rule the pull-out game out of the market. Do you know there's still a percentage you can get pregnant with the pull-out game?
No,
so,
I'm talking about with the.
Oh, with the condom. Okay,
Right.
but I'm saying with the pull-out game, so-called, you can still
I
get
don't
pregnant.
believe in that.
No, so when people's like, oh, your pull-out game's gonna be strong.
No,
I'm
I
like,
don't believe
what
in
are you
pull out
talking
game.
about?
Like that is just
Okay, but no,
childish.
going back to the point, the condom, I understand.
Like very low chances.
But there's still scenarios.
Yeah, it's
that
like
are recorded,
1%.
so-
Hey, that 1% can happen though.
I don't know what stat that is.
But okay, just as I'm just gonna go back, and the point that Estrella brought up is very, very true, especially with when you think of teenagers. If a guy takes out a condom and goes into the lady, and she becomes pregnant, that was unplanned, and that is
right.
that is.
I think it's
I don't-
borderline. I understand.
No, because the many
Guys.
So just
About
leave it.
rape,
We're
yeah,
not going to
because-
change anyone.
I agreed with Estrella that if you are having sex initially with a condom and you slip the condom out and just go in there without the condom, that it is rape because it's you're not getting no consent. And I felt like that was something that needed to be stressed because I didn't want anyone listening to think that it was okay.
Basically, I'm saying I think there's a narrative out there that goes on where people feel like it's better with or without. And sometimes, if you're young and you're 15, 16, and you decide, oh, I'm just going to see what it feels like, I'm going to take it out and just go in there. You never know what could happen. And if something happens and you potentially ejaculate quicker than you initially thought you were going to do because of the sensation, and the lady feels gets the brunt of what happens, that's unplanned. But I also say that that's rape because that's not what you consented to.
And that's not, she didn't know and she
Yeah.
didn't want it.
And the way that it was brushed up earlier, I was like, that's not a.
But that's what Lucy said. I think everyone's point on the rape thing. Everyone has entitled to their opinion. That's what you
I'm
believe.
not trying to change
No,
anyone's
I'm
opinion.
not saying you're trying to change, but that's what you. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that Lucy or anybody else thinks that way, but that's your opinion. That's fair enough.
I'm scared for when Tyler has daughters. The guys, he's gonna have a
Okay,
shotgun, all
alright.
types of stuff. You don't play about women at all.
So, on to the next question. For educational purposes, let's point out the various ways that a woman can end up having an unwanted pregnancy.
There's only one.
There's only one.
Penetration. Next question.
Next question.
We're talking about all this contraceptive methods and NuvaRings rings and implants and blah blah blah, this and that, but all those are 99.99%. 100% effective. Don't have sex. That is the only way. If you want to go that route. No one said you have to. No one says that's the best way or the right way, but that is the 100% way to not have a child.
There has to be penetration. There has to be like an intercourse. That's what we know growing up. But then now in technology, you can have you can get pregnant through other ways. Yeah.
And I guess just to like delve a little deeper into that, some people, this pull-out game thing, some people maybe think that pulling out may reduce the risks of you getting pregnant. But also I think it's also educating yourself. That's really important. I was just gonna link this to like back home in Africa. I don't know if it's the same in Western Africa, but I can only compare it to what I've noticed in my own country, Uganda. I don't know if there's, over time, the awareness is growing and people are now advertising it, it's on a billboard, but there's still a bit of like a taboo. I don't know if like with some of you girls, your mothers maybe spoke to you about, ways of like contraception, and I still think there's a lot of girls whose mothers don't have that conversation and they have to learn through someone accidentally getting pregnant and feeling like, then their mothers talk to them like they're the ones that got pregnant, and it's almost like a fear is instilled in you about it, but it's not really like, let's educate you on why and how you're going to prevent this. Even if you don't take like the lessons I'm giving you, like there's no sort of like breakdown in how young girls are being educated about it. And I think that's why sometimes these unplanned pregnancies, young teenage pregnancies come about.
And then can I add one more? Abstinence. Abstinence, that's very hard because like the youth now is like, I think it's because I don't know you girls will come hard on me. I think most of the time in like the African community, right, we don't talk about sex. And then sometimes in the African community, when you don't talk about sex and then you put fear into somebody like, oh my God, when you have sex, you're gonna get pregnant, then it start playing with their minds and they want to like the fear turns into curiosity. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. So sometimes it's like the more like the parents tell them, oh, you have to stop, don't do this, don't touch it. Because some people will just lie to you, like when you touch a guy, you get pregnant. And when she touches a guy, she doesn't get pregnant. Like growing up in the African home, most of the time that's what they tell them, oh, don't go near this guy. Oh, when you go near him, you get pregnant. And then they realize like they're around guys and they get pregnant. Like, okay, so what's next? Like they move, and then bam.
To the next question, do women have full control over whether they get pregnant or not?
Yes.
100%. Yes.
100%.
Can you elaborate?
You don't have to have sex. That's it. Okay. You have the full control. Cross those legs, no one's coming in. You have all the control.
Like him.
I'm serious.
No, I mean, okay.
I mean, there's still scenarios where like you will use contraception and then it fails, right? It still fails, and they stress that it's not 100%. You know, yeah, exactly. It may be it's high, and they will advise you to, use contraceptives, but it's still you can go and do as much as you can, but sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah. But that is not still to say it's the woman's fault. She got pregnant. No,
who has the control?
Wait, one at a time.
Not if
she has
what's
the
going
control.
on.
It's not like an 100% thing. Okay, yes, don't have sex, fine.
But if
you do, it still does not mean you're definitely not going to get pregnant, even if you do.
I mean, if the contraception did fail, then I suppose that's something you can talk about, and there's nothing you can do about it because it does happen. But on the flip side, you have more power and more control if you do get pregnant, because the ball kind of like does lie in your court, if you know what I mean. So it's just like, well, where do we go from here?
The reason why I wouldn't say it's 100% is because that eliminates people that go through abuse where it's forced. You have kids who are getting assaults from uncles, or even, God forbid, their own stepdads. In those situations, if you're 14, that's not the first thing in your mind, and then you get pregnant. That's not you in control.
Right.
It's definitely in control. And the other situations, whether it's contraceptives or any of that, I think it does take two to tango. So I don't know that.
I thought we were talking about consenting adults. I didn't know we were going into sexual.
Either way, the question was who has control.
Control.
Yeah. And there was no.
We do.
So the women have control.
Yeah, we could cross our legs, but there are females out here who's very sexually active. So the best way is just to use protection, and be careful when you're using protection.
And also, I would say, like, you're right. Like, the protection part is not a guarantee. And I feel like if you express your feelings to your partner at the time that you do not want to be pregnant, and you have all the best protection with you, at the end of the day, he still has to take that into consideration and do his part to understand that you do not want to be pregnant.
Yeah,
I don't care if, you shouldn't have sex with me if you don't want to be pregnant, because that could happen.
Yeah.
No,
then that's going to responsibility, not the power. The responsibility lies with both of us. The power more lies with you guys.
They go hand to hand.
I'm very uncomfortable saying that. I just so uncomfortable saying that it's 100% the control of the lady. I think
I'm taking consenting adults into this. I'm not talking about rape. I'm not talking about child abuse. I'm not talking about incest. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about
still not
right here in this setting.
So what are you saying?
If we're limiting that, which I don't know that we should, but if we're just doing consenting adults, I still don't think that it's 100%. Because if you're a consenting adult, you have to, in the back of your mind, know that there's a 0.1 whatever chance that you're going to get pregnant. And if you know that that's going to happen, that doesn't give the lady 100% control. Then you should be.
We're talking about. Well, you're talking about during and after. I'm talking about before. If I go to Lucy and say, Lucy, let's do this, and she says no, what am I going to do?
There's scenarios where, let's say you sleep with a woman, you don't use protection. There are men that are bold enough to go out and make sure, or the woman actually gets, a morning after plan or something like that. Yeah. And still the men have to take full responsibility of it, not just be like, have you got it? How about offer? Do you want me to get it? Like, make her life easier in some way. Make her see that you care just as much. You don't want a child just as much. Because the next time it's going to be like, nah, I might just be some sort of girl you just want to sleep with and then go about your day. And before you know it, you are labeled as deadbeats. You're labeled as this because that's where it stems from. You didn't make an effort in the beginning because you weren't ready to be a father.
You have sex with a woman, you don't use a condom, you have no right to start stressing her about or get upset if she gets pregnant and then blame her for getting pregnant. I think you're just as responsible. It's both of you who's got into that bed and had sex. So make an effort too. Help her. If she needs you to go make a run to the pharmacy to get a morning after, get it. Like, don't just put all the weight on women and then, blame them at the end of the day saying they're the reason they got pregnant. At the end of the day, it takes two to tango.
I guess what I'm saying is before you actually have sex and before as you're in the act of sex, in the back of your mind, there's that possibility that should always run through your mind. And knowing that you're consenting and you're doing that, if it does come, you should be prepared for the consequences. That's all.
Thank you.
Both parties.
Both parties should be.
Whatever.
The question.
Because that's exactly what I'm saying. We all have the power. I don't have to have sex with you. You don't have to have sex with me. When we're in the middle of it and afterwards, that's when this whole thing of power, control, whatever, it's responsibility. And we both if we consent to do this together, whether it's a one-night stand or whatever, we both are in this. We both have responsibility. That's what I'm talking about. That's where this whole power control thing is getting a little muddled. So during and after, it's everyone. Beforehand, it's on the individual.
I mean, I still, I think if we're having sex during, and I'm telling you my wishes and my belief, and I feel like you still, you could control the whole thing. I mean,
can control what's going on?
Not the whole thing, but I would like to say that you have, let me be very careful with my words, you have a way to know if I could possibly be pregnant, meaning if you're going to ejaculate or not.
That should be your job.
No, because if you're having sex, like how am I supposed to know?
I
quote
think
unquote,
I think for women, I think that we should know our bodies more than the men do. We know, like, when we have our periods, we know our safe days and our danger days. So it's not really their job to know that.
Okay, but let's say if she don't know, if she just started to be active.
Well, she needs to know.
That's your body,
she needs to know.
Education, you have to know.
No, listen, let's say she just started to be active and she's new at this.
Well, I will say there's some women and men, but mostly before I come to that question towards women, some women are uneducated when it comes to that. Some women don't know their body. There's been stories where women get pregnant, they don't even know they're pregnant until like 7 months down the line.
That's true.
They don't know.
7 months though?
Yeah, that happened. I heard a story of a lady gave birth in the bathroom. She didn't even know.
There's no way.
Yeah, like there's
Some
no way.
women don't show.
It has happened.
For 7 months, that's like 2 more months before you're due.
Some women don't show.
You know, some women are uneducated and they need to know. They need to know this information, whether they need to be schooled by their parents or someone. That information needs to be out there for them to, so they can access, so they know, and then they get to know their body, and then you go from there.
So during the sexual intercourse, right, the guy has a condom on. He takes it off during the sex, and then he puts in his raw dog inside. I consider that rape.
How is that rape?
Okay, but you agreed to sleep with him.
Protect the sex.
Okay, you agreed to protect it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree to protect the sex.
I agree, it's wrong, but it's not rape. I wouldn't define it as rape.
Okay, define it.
Let's define rape. Let's do it.
With a situation like this, yeah, you should take it to court, take it to the police. It's serious. I guess some of the cast members, they feel like it's not that serious. It is. It's the same thing as getting raped, because your life is at hand,
Okay, rape. This is the definition of rape. Google.
Okay.
Unlawful sexual activity and usually sexual intercourse carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against the will, usually of a female, or with a person who is beneath a certain age or incapable of valid consent. You can compare this to sexual assault.
Okay, keyword.
Sexual assault,
Keyword.
Statutory rape.
Keyword against will.
Consent.
Keyword.
Incapable of valid consent.
So she was incapable of saying that
You say, hey, I'm about to go unprotected. Yes. That was not. You didn't give her the keyword. You didn't give her the capabilities.
Guys, one at a time.
On the thread. Was she on the thread?
Yes.
How was she on the thread if she knew what she was doing?
You're threatening my life.
Okay.
With
what?
Okay, so let's say this is happening, right? This person can be carrying something. It can be HIV and other STDs. That is rape.
Wow.
If my life involved.
Why would
Okay,
you have sex
can I
with
just?
someone that you don't know their
It doesn't matter.
status?
It doesn't. That's why we wear condoms to begin with, to
I'm not
protect
having sex
ourselves.
with anybody who
For
has
pregnancy
HIV,
and
AIDS, even if they have a condom.
But okay, so initially you were okay to sleep with this person if they used a condom, and then halfway through they slipped a condom off. You did not realize, and that's why.
No. You know, hey, we're gonna cut this off. Excuse me, but this happened to me, and I stopped the guy, and I'm like, "What's this? What's going on here?" He's like, "No, you know you're gonna like it. Get out. This is not right. It's not right. It's rape. It's rape."
Because he chose for her. He made a choice without having a conversation about taking it off. And that's not okay. Because we had a conversation having sex protectedly. Okay, you're going to put a condom. I'm okay with this. And I'm going to let you do you. Now, the minute you decide to do you without even letting me know about it, I have no idea. And you do your sneaky, decision. It's not okay because I don't know about.
Definitely, it's not
It's
right.
not okay.
It's against my will. It's against my consent.
It's not right. And
but this is the same thing as like being raped before. This is the stuff that goes in your mind. Am I gonna get something from this guy? Will I get pregnant? It's the same thing.
Let me just say, even when you're raped, right? You're having sex with a guy and he's having sex with you. And
no, when you're being raped, usually
you could have no. You could agree to have sex and then he just keep going and you don't stop and you don't want to stop. He keep going and going and going. Well, then be like, oh, she agreed at first. She wanted to have it at first. But after a while, I realized I don't want to have sex no more. If I said no, stop, no, stop. But he keep on going. His case would be like, well, she wanted it at first. It was good at first. But I said no. Yeah. We didn't, I don't want it. It's very effy. And this is where, as women, we have the advantage because the one word we said no, it flipped the script. Even though at first I was having fun with it and we're taking pictures and we're doing a little Ray J and Kim Kardashian moment, the second I'm not feeling it no more is when you have to stop being horny and understand what I'm saying and just stop. Just respect the choice that I don't want you to take off the condom and I don't want to continue having sex.
I understand that.
That's still rape, right? That's still a case.
That's rape because now it's gotten there's force involved now.
Yes. Yeah,
You've said you do not want to, and then.
But same thing with the condom not being forceful because that was against my will, against my consent. That's not what I agreed to.
The person didn't know. That's crazy.
It's like a contract. We signed a contract. No, honestly, it's a contract.
I agree.
Verbal.
Having sex is a contract because we agreed to have sex. The minute that you decide to add some stuff to the contract without me reading it or agreeing to it, it's not valid.
So, to go on to your point, no. When a woman says no. But if a guy says no to a woman and a woman carries on, is that rape?
Yes.
No, it's not funny. Yes. What do you mean? If a guy says no, it's rape. And I don't get this. I don't get when most males would look at it as like, oh, well, a girl could never rape me or whatever the case. So I would never say no in that instance. Anything could take place. And I don't like the way it's frowned upon when a guy says no and a guy can never be raped by a woman. What are you talking about? If you're in a predicament where you don't want to be in that situation, everyone's looking at it like, oh, well, if a girl's on top of me, whatever the case, I'm going to be enjoying it. Okay, cool. What if you're not enjoying it? What if, she got a knife to your throat and she's like, oh, yeah, take it. And I'm like, what? Thank you. Everyone's...
I'm sorry.
It happens. If a woman's on top...
You can overpower, man.
Okay. No, I'm just saying. This is what you see. See how funny it is when it's a guy saying it. This is the thing.
I'm with him on this.
It is rape. It is.
That's what I'm saying. So,
but you can
it's not as common because men are... You can slap the shit out of them. Boom.
No. A guy's never going to admit it's going to say, oh, your girl's on top. No, stop. Please, don't do it.
Two girls cannot rape you. You know that.
Why can't
Okay, don't. Excuse me. Don't speak for him. Let him speak for himself.
Yes, I think women can rape men.
Can rape you? No, I'm talking about you.
Look, I think the stigma is obviously that it's one way. I think it's definitely I think no is enough, and if a guy says no, it's no. If a woman says no, it's no. So it's that's how I feel. I feel like you can't.
That was the question I asked. I'm saying, do you feel like a woman can rape you?
Yes.
As a guy.
But let me tell you something. It's not just like two women approaching you. You can strategically plan to put someone down, even if they're like drug you. Like there are different ways in which you can.
That's also.
You can't just ask him.
It's different drugs.
Yes, I think girls can rape men. Yeah, it might not be as popular, of a thing to say or a thing that does happen, but it does happen. I mean, it could be drugged, handcuffed, or it could be a situation where the guy says no.
I can't see myself being raped by a woman. 2 women, 3 women, not less like a woman. I'm not trying to like, and I respect women. I know they are strong women. But then when I hear stories about guys being raped, I laugh. Like, unless maybe when they get drugged. Like when I get drugged, it's different. But then when you are physically like healthy with no drug, and then I hear such stories, I just feel like you can do something about it. You know, as like with women, you know, women are like more like weak, if I should say that.
Is the pull-out method any good?
Hell no. Pull-out game.
Why? Why are you saying that?
I don't know who even made that up. Pull-out game. What are you talking about? That's what people that are uneducated that believe if you pull out one during sexual intercourse that a girl's not going to get pregnant or nothing's going to happen. Yeah. Wake up, people. No, who even brought that up? Who made it up, the pull-out game? Just slap yourself. What are you talking about, pull-out game? Really? My message to people, to males, the pull-out game, if you believe that it works and it works for you, go ahead. You're going to see the consequence. If you pull out, there's still a percentage of a woman getting pregnant. So if you feel that, oh yeah, my pull-out game's strong, I know I'm going to, I can pull it out at the exact moment. Listen, wake up and smell the tea, coffee, English, whatever they're drinking. But I'm just saying at the same time, listen, the pull-out game don't work. That's just my message.
Yeah, no, I'm with him. I don't have anything to add to that, but you seem like you want to say something.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be like super experienced. Yeah. Like you said. For real. Yeah, the pull-out games works for some people like me.
Ooh.
Yeah. Are we
experienced
now?
All right, guys, let's let him talk.
Yeah, so the pull-out game works for some people. It doesn't work for some people over here. My pull-out game is strong. I don't know about your pull-out game, but mine is strong.
I think the pull-out game is a very lazy and irresponsible way, and I think anyone who follows that fad or whatever it is going on, trend, is really someone that's very careless about their own health, regardless of just even pregnancy.
I've never done it, by the way. Just so you know. No, I don't do it.
Don't say.
So yeah.
Are we talking about with or without a condom?
Why do you think it works for you?
Because I know what I'm doing. Because my pull-out game is strong.
With or without a condom?
With and without. It's still strong. Because for a guy, no, for like mentally, a guy, you know when you're about to.
Statistically,
you know.
So you know your body.
Statistically,
we know our body. Like,
without a condom, women can still get pregnant from pre-com.
Yes.
So
that's the point I was making.
Pre-com? When did it really?
Yeah, but it's low.
I don't have to do a research on that.
Okay.
No,
research it.
For pre-com?
It's facts.
Oh wow.
It's
Yeah,
facts.
that's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? When did you start to realize that I got my pull-out game is strong? Was it like multiple times where you realized a girl wasn't getting pregnant and then you were like,
is it like a survey out there, statistic?
No, I'm just asking this pull-out method. I kind of think it started off with someone just being too lazy to make a run to the store to grab some condoms or something. Like, it's not effective. I don't think anyone should believe in it or live by it. I know Milan said something about his pull-out game is strong. Nah, like, I'm advising everybody, don't live by that. It's like you tried it once and then it became like maybe.
I mean, I've tried it once, twice,
and
3
then
times,
and
then I realized like, oh, it's time for me to like pull, or it's time for me to like do what I need to do. But then for guys, like the same as women, like we need to know our body. So I think that's what's working for me. I don't know.
I think this is a message. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut anyone off, but anyone watching, I have to just say this.
Stop skinny dipping.
The pull-out game is not a real thing. Whether you have a strong game like Milan has, please protect yourself always and err on the side of caution, regardless of how strong or how weak you feel like it is. I just feel like that is one of the laziest, most irresponsible things, no offense, to actually go on and decide that you're going to go raw and then say that your means of protection, whether you're taking out the STD equation out and coming out, I mean, that is severely irresponsible. And I hope that anyone listening who is thinking of having sex for the first time knows that there are other contraceptives that you can use with a higher percentage. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, time for president. that was good, though. I appreciate that.
I mean, you hit it right, the hammer right in the nail there. But Milan, here's a question for you. So, if you was about to have sexual intercourse with a woman, and she doesn't say to you, Milan, wear protection, or she doesn't say anything to you, you're still going to go in there skinny dipping, nothing. You're not even going to question it.
Yeah, like most girls I've been with, I mean, oh God.
No, I'm throwing the question out there.
Because I'm a one. No, I'm not a player. That's what I was about to say. Like people would think I'm a player. Man. No, I'm a one woman guy. Kind of. So, by all my relationships, I haven't been in a lot of relationships. So, by the relationships I've been into, like most of the girls don't like using condoms. They tell me, even if when I try to, no, for real. Even when I try to, like, no, don't do it. And I do it for them. Because I do.
Just make sure you get an STD screening.
No, I get tested all the time.
Hope so.
So they
I do.
So you get them tested. Keep going.
I get tested, so I'm.
No, how about them?
Do they get tested before I have sex with them? No, but then I know I'm good, and I'm still good.
How do you know you're good?
You know I'm good for real. So yeah.
Because there's so many things. Even if you wear condoms, there's genital herpes. That condoms are for pregnancy. I need a lot of people to really realize that. For the most part, they were made for pregnancy. You can still catch AIDS. You can still catch all types of things. Genital herpes, syphilis, you can still catch.
And some condoms and not
also, especially for men, herpes. Sometimes, for the most part, from reading, it doesn't show. Like it'll show up in the test if you go get tested for everything, but it won't. It's not like you'll be burning the next day and all of a sudden you know you got something. So that virus could live in your system, in your spine for a while, and like a year down the line, it'll just come out and you'll have the work. You have to read up on things like this. Like it affects you. A lot of things that guys contract, during sex. Takes a long time to show up too. Yeah, I was actually kind of, I won't say worried, but I was surprised when he said that, he gets tested after. I'm like, by the time you get tested after, you already have what you have. That's just you finding out at that point. So you can go get tested for it. Sometimes it'll be there a small strain, but every body has a small strain of almost every little thing. That's just, how the body works. I won't say every little virus, but like bacteria, certain things. So like you should just make sure they're getting tested too. It's nothing. If they can't take the time to go get tested, not just to have sex with you, but you tell someone, can you get tested? And they actually have a problem with you, you just stay away from that person.
Thanks for letting me know.
I hope you.
So I love Milan, and anyone listening, doesn't matter how strong you pull out games, do protect yourself or remain abstinent. Facts.
I'm abstinent. Want to let the world know that. Do not slide up in my DMs. You will get your feelings hurt.
Where did that come from?
I was the message I want to put out into the world.
Okay, so finally she gets pregnant. How do you guys feel about abortion?
Unless it is a product of rape or it's some sort of genetic disease that the child won't even make it past 3 months, which that only makes up for about 5% of abortions in the United States anyway. I do not believe in abortion. I'm sorry, I just don't. I mean, it is not my Roe v. Wade. I don't have a choice in it. It's all on you guys to make that decision. I personally don't believe in it. I do not believe in abortion. I'm so sorry. It's just the way I was raised and what I believe, unless it has to do with rape or incest or, some of the crazy genetic diseases that are coming up out there, like Tay-Sachs, where the child will be born, won't even live past 3 months, and it'll be an excruciating life for it. I feel like let's just send him back to the stars.
I think for me, I'm 50-50 with it. I will, if a female says to me she doesn't really want to have the baby, say that we did the right precautions and everything, and she's like, you know what, I'm not really ready for the baby. I would have the open conversation, and I would try and get to and understand why you don't want to have the baby. If she feels like she's not ready, as the age I would try and understand. I wouldn't be happy, because if I wanted to try, if it was happy, I'd be over the moon. Who doesn't want to have their KMS Junior running about, But at the same time,
nobody wants your beefcake.
All right. I'm like, really? As I was saying, you know, lots of people want the KMS Junior, but at the same time, I was just saying, you know, I would have the open conversation.
With me, like I would say, I'm against abortion. I don't really, what?
No,
I'm against abortion.
Pull out, so you
but
don't
then,
even have that.
I'm against like abortion, but then, like let's say, I get pregnant, right? And then she comes to me like, oh, it happens. I wouldn't tell her to abort it. I would just be like, oh wow, you know. But then if she wants it, no, it won't hit me like wow.
Yeah, the oh wow was like, oh wow. Like, that's your reaction. I'm telling you, I'm probably like, oh wow. Like, I don't care if you say, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. Oh, like, what? No, like, that's all you have to say.
But I wouldn't tell her. I wouldn't bring that in her mind. Like, I wouldn't let her feel like I want her to get an abortion. But then if she wants it for herself, I would support that.
Can I also add as well, for women, I mean, going for an abortion, it's an emotional thing as well. It's not the easiest decision to make. So for a guy to say, you know, you guys decide to go through, I'm going to have an abortion, whether we had the conversation or not, and a guy to just jump ship, I'm saying that's going to psychologically play on their brain as well, you know? So I feel that any guy that does jump ship just because he didn't get what he wants, or she feels that she's not ready, then I'm like, come on, you need to grow up and, you know, put on your big boy pants. That's her decision, and obviously I feel that you should just respect it and just go with it. I mean, maybe if she don't want to have babies ever, then that's a different conversation. But if she feels that she's not ready yet, then she's going for the abortion. I think you should stick through, have the conversation, be there for her, and be the support system.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because even with women that want to go through abortions, they have to go through some sort of counseling, and that is taxing already. Like having to do that, it's compulsory. So you can only imagine what the conversation is going to be like at home. I think as men, you want to make that as light as you can, still voicing your opinion on it, but being a real team player and a supporter of whatever she decides at the end of the day.
Like, it depends also on your background. Like for me, like if it had to happen to me, I'll be really devastated, because my grandfather's a pastor. My mother is like super Christian, and we don't really talk about sex and stuff like this, even though I'm sure she probably, you know, think that, you know, my daughter probably gonna have sex, but we don't really talk about it. And where I want to be in my life, I know for 1,000% I'm not prepared and ready to have a child. So it's not something I could come out and explain that I'm pregnant. It's not something I could come out and say I want an abortion. So it's really I'm by myself in this. Yes, your input is helpful, but it's not really helpful. Because then I'm really by myself. I'll be by myself in this clinic, getting it done.
But see, it's very true. Sorry to cut you there, and that's what I'm talking about. You were saying you being by yourself. But if you have someone which is there, which is your support mechanism, you won't be by yourself. So you're not you're making a decision, but you're not making a decision solely by yourself. You've got someone which is your partner, that loves you, cares you, understands you, to make you make a better decision whether you want the baby or not.
But let's say we're both in college and we're both doing our majors, and I'm pregnant, and we've been in a relationship for like 5 years, and I'm pregnant.
Okay.
And you say, babe, I want you to keep it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, as a college student, realizing that I didn't pay my loans, I still have.
Don't worry, I got you.
How you got me when you're also a student?
Wait. There's loads of stories. Wait, hold on. But this is what I'm saying.
You have to look at all of that. A baby's a bill.
Go ahead.
A baby is another bill not every month.
Very true. I totally get it.
Okay, it's every bill that's with you forever.
I'm aware of that.
A bill that you cannot put back to the hospital. You have it with you.
Okay.
So with that being said, I have to take a decision where it's like, if I'm going to have this child, regardless you stay with me, you don't stay with me, I'll be good.
But this is what I'm saying to you. I am there thick and through. I'm not going anywhere. I'm by your side. So if I'm by your side 1,000%, any decision you make, I'm there for you. Whether it's emotionally or physically, I'm there for you. What is the problem? Why are you so unsure? Is it to do because you just don't want the baby? Or is it because, so what is it then?
Because I will have deja vu's, flashback. I would be like, what?
But precisely, it's to do with you. That's what I'm saying. That's to do with you. But let's talk about it.
I think what she's saying is whatever. Even as though we think she's carrying the baby for 9 months, and
I
it's
understand
just like
that's a connection that you have, whether it's a male or a female.
But
baby.
the thing is, this is not your life. This is her life.
Yeah.
At this point, it's not about you.
Really my life.
Even though you want to put we in this is me.
Even though
locally, I'm not even trying to have a baby.
Well, you know what? But then at the same time, all a male can do them. But this is what I'm saying. Some females, not all, will talk about, well, a woman will go through and a male's not there when the pregnancy's there, and he's trying to be there, but then you solely just said it's not your decision, it's my decision,
Right.
regardless if it's we or not. So
Right.
how is a male meant to interact and be there for you
There's really no
emotionally and
way.
physically?
Just be there while she's, getting the abortion.
But this is the thing though, why would a man only want to be there when he's only getting an abortion? Why can't he be there from the start?
I get what you. I get.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But then women say, "Oh well, men are never there." Well, if a man's trying to be there and you're making solely decisions by yourself, and they say the
But
man's
maybe
not
it's
there.
not the man. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's
But that's
just,
what I said. That.
Yeah.
I said that earlier.
Okay.
Maybe it's not the man.
Right.
He's trying to do his job. Maybe it's yourself. You have to do so. You have to work on yourself in order to make decision or make a better decision or make whatever decision you're gonna make.
That's true. No, you're right. I like that. I have no comeback for that because you're right.
I think I agree. Like, I don't agree with abortion 100%, although there's some cases where I think it should be allowed. I think, like you said, rape, I believe you talked about. Like, there's some scenarios where I think that should be understood, right? So that's my opinion on abortion. That said, though, I do feel like women need to be more vocal about it, even with their partners, maybe with like a sister or like a mother figure that can help them go through that, because women go through really like underhanded methods of abortion these days, and it's common where they end up losing their lives. And sometimes people disagree with abortion in general because of that risk alone.
All right, so my thoughts, I growing up, I'm a Christian. Growing up, abortion wasn't something that we were taught to have, but now my opinion, still as a Christian, is that at the end of the day, when that decision does come about and she has a baby and she wants to think about that, I do tend to lean more towards the part that it is her body, but I do also want the discussion to be had in the sense that there was it took two to tango. My views on abortion are that, generally, most of the time, I'm pretty certain I will always want to keep the baby. At the same time, I do respect that a woman has the right to do what she wants to do with her body. So while I make my views clear, like I want to keep the baby, I also understand that it's her right, and I will support her with that decision. But yeah, my first instinct is to always keep the baby. So it is case by case. I'm not going to give a percentage to say like it's 50-50 because I don't think that does the situation justice. I think that takes away the potential of what you feel at the moment. I would most likely always probably lean towards keeping the baby, but at the same time, I have to be respectful of the lady, and many people always make fun of me, but I'm a feminist, so I do believe that women should have.
we love you. We're not making fun of you.
I do believe that women should have a say in their body, but in my heart of hearts, I most likely always 100% will probably want to keep the baby.
Okay, let's say that you're on birth control. What about STDs, which can actually affect you or even cause death?
I will. If I say kill him, there's something crazy, so I'm not gonna say I'm gonna kill him.
No, I'm right with you.
I will murder him.
I'll kill you too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How you gonna kill me? You dead.
I always say everyone should be protected. So my thing is you're always covering yourself. You're always doing that. So I don't know that I would ever be in that situation, but I always lean towards protecting yourself. Or then you're really putting yourself at harm, and I would think that if you put yourself at harm and you cause an STD, I think that's.
I have a question for you. I'm sorry to cut you. Would you be offended if a woman asked you to get tested?
No.
You would go?
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna go.
Of course. I mean, that's
okay.
Why are you gonna say, love?
People have to stop getting uncomfortable or feeling ashamed to ask someone to go get tested. It's not like you're saying, yo, you look like you have something you might want. You could say that. That's rude. Don't think anybody gonna fuck with you after. But, you'd be like, you know what? I like you a lot. I think we, gonna just say it. I mean, I think right there, that's a test.
Yeah.
Just the reaction itself, from that question. I had a guy, an ex, that I was like, yo, let's go get tested together. He was like,
yeah,
together? I was like, yeah, together. He's like, all right, we out.
Wow.
And then I had another guy who was just like, you dead ass? And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do it, but you dead ass? I'm like, yeah, you did it. So I think people you just gotta rip the Band-Aid off. You're like, yo, I think you should get tested. And getting tested is not just, find out if you have HIV/AIDS. There is so many things out there.
Okay, it's very obvious that most unwanted pregnancies are a result of lack of information. So I want to ask you guys, especially the women here, where to get information.
You can read about it, Google it, Planned Parenthood. Or sometimes the best way to learn is by talking to somebody, like speaking to your friends. I'm really big on learning from people than learning from the internet or books. So if I have a friend, that's been through it, she could share her experience. That's also when you really know about it and learn about it, because it hit home and hit close to you. So it's like, oh damn, that's real,
I personally like to hear directly from a professional. I'm going to take that step and make an appointment and talk to someone and be like, yo, I'm so confused about this. I'm going to go get that pap smear. I'm going to be like, yo, I saw this happen in my panties, or I saw this, and then what is that? I Googled it. I feel the worst thing you can do is Google something when you're not sure. Because that WebMD can ruin your life.
That's true.
Very right.
Really go to a professional.
Yeah, I mean, but it still gives you a bit of an inkling. It gives you a bit of an inkling. So, okay, that could be some. It could not be the truth, but it gives you a bit of an inkling. So, okay, it may be not to be the truth, but then it takes you another step to go and then go see the specialist.
Yeah, that's
what
you really want.
Library, Google, there's clinics, free clinics. They usually show a video, because I usually go with my partner if I'm having sex. Okay, we're gonna test it. They will tell you everything, or visit your gynecologist.
I think it's clear from what we learned today that education is key, whether it comes to STDs, whether it comes to what rape is, or whether it comes to how to define a vasectomy and when to ask that. So I think our jobs as the next generation of leaders to really try and make some of these topics less taboo. There are several intersections where you've got religion that come into play, or you've got lack of pure resources into play, and just societal stigmas. So, I think as men and women here, we should pass it on to the next level and say, what is safe sex? And
they do have these this YouTube series called Sugar. I don't know if you guys heard of it, where they have different scenarios if you want to have sex. You should go to clinics and that, something more understandable for
That's good. That's great.
I mean, for me, I think the message for me would be for the younger generation: question everything and ask why. If you don't understand, ask why. Ask somebody. Go find out. Go get the education. Go find out. Just question everything. Not questioning everything is always going to be a bad thing. It's down to lack of education. They just don't know. Period. And I believe that the information's out there. But then, like I said, daughters, sisters, females, whatever the case is, I feel that they need to ask the question or want to seek the information so they get to know their body, they're familiar with their body, so they don't make mistakes, so to say. So if you are out there and you are listening to this, go and, go seek the information, because it's all out there. Come on, females. I mean, you try to get to know your body, because it is your body, and if you don't know it, that's why the information's out there. Or ask somebody. There's nothing wrong with asking somebody. Ask. Great to ask. I always ask why. I question myself. No, I don't question myself, but I question other people. Because like for instance, little kids, whether they're age 5 to 6, when they always ask their parents why this and why that, and parents get upset, they're inquisitive because they want to know, So if you want to know something, just ask the question or go on to your own accord and try to find the information yourself. And if you don't, ask an adult. And if an adult don't tell you, go somewhere else. The information is out there. It's up to you whether you want to find out the information, and you take it from there.
I'm with Nastray. I feel like, especially for young people who, may not have a strong support system, they may be in very religious homes that they can't talk about this with their parents. The internet is a black hole. I've had cancer 14 times from WebMD, so I can't. I can't. So I can't. Living my 20 some odd years in the church, that it's always been don't have sex, abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. I'm just saying we need to open up the conversation, because at the end of the day, we are humans. We all fall short, and whether or not we want to hear it or not, it is happening right in your own backyard, right in your community. That girl that's singing choir right now, she's probably doing it right now. So we need to open up the conversation and make sure that we're educating on more. So, just in case abstinence isn't working for you, which it may not, here are the other options. So I feel like if you're a woman, go get yourself a gynecologist, Yellow Pages, Google it, whatever takes your insurance, free clinic, whatever. If you're a man, go to your general. My general is my priest. I tell him he's the only person that knows everything about me. So those are the people that will keep your secrets, will let you know what to do, will point you in the right direction, and they will always have your back no matter what. That is it.
That's word.
All right.
Okay, that's it for today's episode, and thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.